Yes. Sorry. Okay, thank you. So I'm Kathleen Otto, I'm the county manager, and again, I appreciate all of your willingness to help us with the new Ethics Commission. And I just want to introduce the two staff members who are here today, and they'll be working very closely with you as we move through this process. Kristen, do you want to introduce yourself, Kristen?
Yes, hi, I'm Kristen Phillips. I know we've emailed a few times. It's nice to put faces to your names. I'm the county council's assistant and I work in the county manager's office really closely with Kathleen, and I am here to help.
Great. And Chris?
And I'm Chris Cook. I'm a senior deputy prosecutor with the county, and I am here for whatever your legal needs might be.
Yes, and then I don't think the three of you have actually met each other. Um, and full disclosure, I do know Darcy. But if you all want to introduce yourselves and maybe a little background on why you want to be on the or why you volunteered to be on the commission would be great. So Darcy, if you want to get started.
And it is in and out a little if you get the same thing for me. I'm Darcy Rourke. I live in Ridgefield, Washington, but I lived in Vancouver. I worked for the Vancouver School District and for Clark College, mostly in the area of human resources. And so I've got a lot of experience working with the Washington State Ethics and doing investigations and dealing with complaints regarding ethics issues. So I'm here because I really would like to contribute more to this community, and this seems like a great way to do it. So that's me.
Thank you, Darcy. And Adam?
I'm Adam Murray. I'm a business attorney at Schwabe. I've been here in Vancouver for about 7 years now. Most of the clients I work with are either ports or other maritime companies. But before coming to work at Schwabe, I worked for the federal courts for 2 years. And I've always taken ethics very seriously, particularly in government. And so I'm excited to learn more and contribute more.
Great, thank you. And Barbara?
Yes, I moved to Vancouver 2015 from Arizona. I'm a retired attorney. I have served on many different boards, school boards, church boards, state bar boards. And I too am interested or very concerned about ethics in many respects, especially government. Since I'm retired, I'd just like to contribute my time, if I possibly can, to further a review of those practices.
Great, thank you. And Chris, I want to make sure we didn't lose you.
No, I just muted and stopped my camera. Sometimes that helps if there are any bandwidth issues, and
Gotcha. Yeah.
y'all don't need to focus on me.
Okay. So I did talk briefly with Chris this morning or earlier today about this particular meeting and then also how you want to move forward. So this is your commission. I know Kristen did send over some sample bylaws that we've had with other boards and commissions. And that's, I guess, the first step for this group is to develop a draft or develop bylaws on how in which you will govern. I can tell you that we do have a phone number here for the ethics hotline for people to call, and our staff will monitor that. So if there's voicemail messages, we'll monitor it and then reach out to the commission if there's something that you guys need to review. Did you get a copy of the code that was passed based on the voter approval?
I don't believe so.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
I think it's, I'll send you, or we'll send you a link. I think it's like 2.07 or something like that in the Clark County Code. It basically, I think, is referring to the RCW that defines what ethics is. And then we also have HR policy that also defines ethics for our internal staff in addition to the RCW. I can tell you we don't have any complaints right now that are needing your assistance. I anticipate, when the and you guys will determine this, but there's going to be two parts. One is when there's a complaint review or received, you'll review it just for that threshold of could this fit under the RCW or under the code? And if not, then it's done. And if so, then you would move forward with however you're going to investigate and look into that. So I guess my question to you all, as you've been thinking about this now for a few months, how would you like to proceed and how can we help? Do you want us to help with the drafting of the bylaws? Do you want to take the first step at drafting the bylaws? Maybe doing a temporary chair today, and then as the bylaws get completed, then maybe at the next meeting you can formalize that process. How would you like us to help you move forward? It's a loaded question, I know.
Well, I think for me, the more help that we have, the better. That said, I looked through the different bylaw samples that we have, and I would prefer to see something a little bit more robust in terms of procedure. I think would be really helpful, since the sort of quasi adjudicative role of the commission is eventually going to become central to it. I looked up different counties that have ethics commissions and found a pretty good sample at Pierce County. I don't know if anyone else did anything like that or not, but I could read you the link, but it would probably be easier to just look it up.
Could you email it to us?
Yeah.
So I agree. I looked through all of the bylaws that you sent us, and I think there's some things that apply or could apply, but a commission like an ethics commission is pretty specific. And I didn't think that those were really closely related. So I did the same thing that Adam did, and I kind of looked around to see what I could find. And I actually looked at the Oregon Government Ethics Commission, and felt like it procedurally was a little bit more robust and talked about the specific work that needed to be done. So, but I do appreciate you guys doing that work for us. Happy to help, but
I'm at a bit of a disadvantage till next week, as I'm in Phoenix right now, and my tablet is my source of internet, and that is limited on what I can read with it. I can't print anything out to circle things or write additional, but I will be back the end of next week and be able to look at those a little more in depth.
And
So-
can I ask, just for the sake of public records and anything, just to establish a standard procedure, when you talk about emailing something to the commission, what you do is you send it to Kristen, and then Kristen will send it to everybody.
okay,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
I'm just wondering if some of the examples we've been given, or even the one that Adam has from Pierce County, if we could break those apart some way into thirds. And perhaps then, you have section 1, I have 2, and someone else has 3 or whatever, and come back together after that as a suggestion.
Yeah.
But
Adam, do you have the link on yours
Yeah,
because I can share my screen, or you might be able to share as well on your end if you wanted to share your screen to share the Pierce County one that you were talking about.
Yeah, let me see if I can do that. That might...
And Darcy, you said yours was the state of Oregon?
yeah, I looked up the Oregon Government Ethics Commission, and yeah, it looked like it had some useful, although I know that different states have very different operations and expectations, but just
Right.
in the way their procedural things that they outlined, I thought might be useful.
I don't seem to be set up for sharing in WebEx.
It would be on the link on the bottom, right next to stop video.
Yeah, if I do that, it says grant access and system preferences, and then it
Okay.
takes me somewhere deep into the system.
I just did a quick search and I think I may have found the Pierce County Code of Ethics.
Yeah, me too.
See if I can share my screen.
And Kristen, I'm going to send you the Oregon one as well, just so that you have that.
Okay, if this looks familiar at all.
That's the code. What I was looking
Okay,
at,
oh yeah,
they actually title it their administrative procedures.
They do have the ethics commission. Is there a link in the
You
commission?
go to the website for the commission, then they have a link there. Let me see if I can get it.
okay, I might be wrong then.
Okay, I see it. Do you need me to send? Oh, there you go, Kristen. I think they're in the center of the administrative procedures under agenda and documents.
Yep.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, view current version there under administrative procedures.
Okay, perfect. And I can save this and send it to the group too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
There's some things in this that would have to be changed because this is based on Pierce's code. But what I like about it is it sort of already refers to the RCWs that are applicable.
Right.
It has a pretty robust section on procedures for the hearings. That seems to more or less mirror the Clark County Code, as I remember it.
And Kristen, I'm sending you our code reference, and then I'll send also the HR policy.
Okay.
This looks really good.
I don't think there's a whole lot that would have to be revised from this one. There are some terms that we don't seem to use in the Clark County Code. And then there's some references to the Pierce County Code that we need to kind of find our analog, but I thought it was pretty good.
So do you want to do we have a way to save this into a Word version? If not, we can reach out to Pierce County as well. Because if you want, either, as Barbara suggested, take different sections and you guys can look at it and come back. Or another option that at the same time we could get a Word version of this, at least update the names to Clark County and anything else that's glaring that is specific to Pierce County. And we can highlight those changes so that you guys can see from the original what has been changed. And we can do it with using track changes so that you have full access to that.
I think
That would be, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Yes, great idea.
Okay. And then do you want to, all three to just, review it in its entirety and be prepared or talk about it next time you meet? Or do you want to break up the sections at all?
Well, I kind of think we perhaps ought to all read it to get the whole overview. If one has a particular interest in section 3 or whatever it is decided to be section 3 or expertise in that area, perhaps we could determine then that that person would be more specific.
I
I
agree.
think that's a good idea for everyone to read it.
Yep.
The one area that I would like Barbara and Darcy for you guys to think about particularly is recusal, because as a local practicing attorney, I would expect to be conflicted out of some of these decisions at some point. And
Okay.
so I've tried to kind of noodle through what would happen on a 3-person commission if one person recused. And, I think I only thought of 2 main options. There are probably hundreds, but one was that the other 2 people could perhaps render a decision if they agreed. And then if they didn't, appoint a 3rd person somehow. And I think there are some samples we can see out there for how you appoint someone when someone recuses, or different options for that. Another option would be to just appoint the 3rd person whenever somebody recuses. But I don't really I haven't thought that through to the point where I have a preference about that. But I just wanted to highlight that as something that I think we'll need to have in there right away, just in case.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And Chris, just I should know the answer to this, but with you referencing, like sending stuff to Kristen, does the OPMA and the voting and all that stuff apply to this board and commission as it does with council?
Absolutely, it does. I don't know whether you all have taken your OPMA training and your public records training, but if you have not, you should.
We'll send you those links as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Basically anything in writing is subject to public records. It's very limited stuff that doesn't get.
Yeah.
And I mean, in listening and and I don't know if this is an option, Adam, based on what you were just talking about, like if you need a 3rd person,
Mhm.
there may be an option if we need to post for an alternate,
Mhm.
and we can do a press release for an alternate, so somebody can apply to be an alternate for those specific times. And then those applications would come to you, and then you would choose the alternate as an option.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. If it was someone who might particularly want to step in as people time out of the commission, it would be good to have people who are getting some experience doing this before they actually got appointed.
Mhm.
I agree.
But I don't know
Yes.
if that means then we would have to have the county commission approve that person ahead of time, or?
Well, I think even with this one, it was county manager appointments, and then what we do is we put it on the council's consent agenda, more as an FYI for them to confirm or reject, basically. But the appointment's not, and because it's the alternate, yeah, I think that would probably be the same method
Okay.
if we were to do that. Unless there's a way, Chris, that if you want to do like a smaller version of the bylaws that would establish that, then maybe it doesn't need council's approval or confirmation.
Well, I would think that if the alternate were going to be acting as a voting member, then the alternate should be treated as a voting member in terms of appointment.
Okay. And we honestly haven't had a lot of ethics complaints. I'm knocking on wood. This doesn't start it, but we've had, less, I think we've had 3 in, and the 3 were in the last couple of years. So and so it hasn't been heavily utilized or an issue. So, but it might be. Once
Never know.
Okay, is there anything else? So we'll take the document, get a Word copy, change Pierce to Clark, do it all in track changes so that you can see it. And then any other specific reference to code or anything like that, we can tie it to our code and HR policy. And then we can send that out to you all ahead of time as well, just so that you have that. Is there anything else that we can help with at this time?
And you're going to send us the training, the link to the training?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Are we getting notices now through our regular email for this, or are we having to go back through that Outlook thing?
So I have been sending everything to both emails just to make sure you're receiving them, but I believe the goal will be to only send to Outlook. That's the way with PDRs come through, we can search everything and pull it up that way. I have been copying your other emails for now, but it would be nice if we could at some point steer away from that.
Because we will, if you're doing any of this work on your personal email, that is subject to PDR. So
Okay.
it's cleaner to use the county email address.
Okay.
So when do we get back together? How much time do you guys need for your step?
I won't be home till next Friday. So, I mean, like I said, I'm a little handicapped with computer access. I can access it, but I can't print anything out or do much editing this way. So,
What if we looked at the first week of March?
good with me.
Yeah, that's good with me as well. Yeah, my calendar looks pretty open. So
How about the Thursday then, the 2nd?
Thursday the 2nd. Yeah, that works.
Let's see here.
3 o'clock?
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah. So March 2nd, 3 o'clock. Yeah, that's good.
So Kristen, do you send us out a link for meetings? Yeah, okay.
Yes, and I was just double checking. I think the 2nd at 3 is a good time. Yeah. Mhm. Perfect. So I will, I'll find that Word version and do some highlighting and some changes and whatnot, and then be sure to get that out to you definitely before the 2nd. That's lots of time.
Okay.
Perfect.
I think for the sake of just a way to run meetings, y'all might think about whether you would be interested in volunteering to be the commission chair. And that might be something that you settle on at the next meeting. Or it could be rotating.
Well, I know I have a 1-year appointment, and I think that's probably almost halfway over now because it's taken us a while to get to this point. So wouldn't make sense for me to volunteer for that at this point. So Darcy and Adam,
Well,
that puts
Adam
the
has
ball in
the
your
chair
park.
appointment.
Well, I have 3 years to be the chair, so if anyone else is interested, I would certainly defer. But if it's me, then I'm happy to do it also.
Well, my vote's for Adam then.
I would agree. Sounds very logical.
All right. Do we need a motion? Do we need a second? Do we?
All of the above. Okay.
I've never been on a group this small for making decisions like that. So yeah,
So is someone moving? Someone
I
making a
move that
motion?
Adam be the chair of this commission for the upcoming year.
Second.
All right.
Ah, shucks, you guys, you're too
Oh,
much.
You gotta vote. You gotta vote.
Real surprise here, Adam.
So who calls for the vote?
Oh, I guess that's me, huh?
Yeah. Well, you haven't been elected yet, but
Okay, so okay, so let's all vote then. All in favor of me being the chair, say aye.
I,
All right, well, the ayes have it.
Chris, is there anything else that we're missing for today?
I can't think of anything. You've got a scheduled meeting and a chair, and you all have an assignment.
Or two.
Yes.
Not bad for a half hour's work.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we are here to help you in any way. You may see Chris and Kristen a little bit more often than me, but I really appreciate your willingness to help us and be part of this commission. So, and if you need anything, let us know.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks for your help as well.
All right. Have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all
I'll bring
very
you back some
much.
sunshine from Arizona. How's that?
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Got it in spades today.
Yeah. I'm not sure how to